Good evening. We begin with breaking news. This is a live look at Queen Street West, where police are investigating shots fired late this afternoon. The call came in just before 5. It appears the windows of a business near Queen in Portland have a number of bullet holes. Officers say they located evidence of gunfire at the scene and believe the suspects fled the area in a dark-colored vehicle. There are no reports of injuries, but witnesses on scene say this is the second time this month the same business has been shot up. At this hour, the area remains an active crime scene, and we'll have more information as it becomes available. In other news, today was a chance for many to enjoy a day off work and school and spend some time with their loved ones.
Family Day is celebrated across the province with a number of activities here in the GTA for those looking to get out and enjoy the day. CTV's Natalie Johnson is live tonight from the rink at Nathan Phillips Square. Natalie, how was your day?
Oh, it was fantastic, Andrea, both on the ice and off. It was just a perfect day to be outside. The pace of this busy city was a little bit slower today as residents took the time to spend the day with the people who matter most.
Racing around the rink today, 11-year-olds Keegan and Elliot came downtown from Newmarket for a full day of hockey in the city.
Just skating with my friends. We're going to go to the Mars game after this. The ice feels like real and like authentic. It's a really nice view of everything. It's a perfect spot.
Surrounded by skaters from all over the GTA who were spending this special day with loved ones.
Family day. We really like to skate and we haven't been out here in years, so we're here today.
A Monday that comes with a clear calendar.
I don't have to go to school and I can watch movies and go to fun places.
After weeks of very cold temperatures, you couldn't ask for a better day to be outside on this family day. The temperature today actually notched up to the plus side, feeling positively balmy after a very frigid February.
Every family day, you don't know what kind of weather you're going to get, and that's the exciting part. It could be -20, it could be freezing rain, it could be a nice day like today with sun.
Down at the beach, it was a chance to check out the winter stations, the exhibits unveiled today.
Walking through these series of chambers, and as you go through, if you're a child, you can stand on the blocks, but you're looking through each of these lenses and kind of seeing what's beyond you.
While up in Aurora, families enjoyed a day of Arctic adventure with some very Canadian content like a lumberjack show and some of the best of this country's winter sports.
They've been cooped up this winter, so I think we have a whole couple months worth of energy to burn out in a couple days here.
But for many, it wasn't about what they did, it was who they were with.
Spending it as a family right in our own town, which is great. Enjoying games in our park. One of the few days a year when we get to spend the whole day together as a family.
Being with the people who matter on Family Day and every day.
What do you like most about being able to spend time with your family?
Just doing stuff with them.
We come out and enjoy some family day with the family and enjoy the extra time together.
Making the most of this Monday.
Get on down here and get on your skates.
With time together.
And this is a live look at Nathan Phillips Square this hour. As you can see, still a few hundred people on the ice right now. It's +2, a little bit of fog in the air, but still mild overall. If you are looking for something to do tonight with friends and family, feel free to come down here and join us. This rink is open officially until 10 p.m. Reporting live, I'm Natalie Johnson. Nathan, over to you.
All right, looks like fun. Thanks, Natalie. Time now for a check on the forecast. There's a live shot of the city. Great conditions for any pretty much outdoor activity on this family day, and we stay above the freezing mark over the next few days. But there is some snow that's expected. Jessica Smith has a look at the current conditions. Hey, Jess.
Hey, we're not entirely done with the wintry mix just yet, but today really is quite nice to spend some time outside. A little fog out there kind of developing, but overall not too bad to spend some time outdoors. The bulk of the really heavy active weather sitting north of the GTA, but we are likely to see a few light showers as we head through kind of this early part of our evening, but it doesn't last very long, so it won't rain on your skating parade. Temperature-wise, we're at 9 degrees right now through Windsor, 2 in Hamilton, -1 in Ottawa. Everybody holding on above seasonal as we head into this early part of our evening. Through the islands, through Pearson, sitting at 2 degrees. Tonight, really no change temperature-wise, but we are watching for the chance of a little bit of a messy mix thanks to a system making its way from Montana in time for Wednesday. More on your full forecast coming up right now. It's over to Andrea and Nathan.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks.
Well, definitely not baseball weather here, but things are heating up in Florida.
Today was the first full squad day at spring training for the Blue Jays. Some of the team's newest arrivals now on site. CTV Sean Leathong is also live there tonight in Dunedin, Florida. And Sean, fans were out in full force today to get a glimpse at this year's squad.
And Nathan and Andrea, when you ask them if they're over the World Series from 2025, the fans say they don't want to get over it. They want more of what they saw, and they want to go a little bit farther. The team that Canada fell in love with is back. The first full day of workouts at spring training for the Toronto Blue Jays, and fans are gathering here in Dunedin just for a glimpse.
Still have the high of the World Series, the playoffs.
Anticipation and a lot of hope for the season.
You know, there's always hope, and so it's a new hope.
The last time fans saw this team together on the field was the heartbreaking extra innings loss in Game 7 of the World Series. Claudia Sanders came down from Toronto and is one of many fans who see this as a sequel to 2025.
When you lose, you learn a lot, and you come back even harder.
Jackie Ferraro and her kids are Blue Jays fans from South Florida who were inspired by what they saw last year.
It was a very emotional season. They were super, we had the highs with them and the lows with them. We were rooting them on every single day.
But now is the beginning of a new season, and the team has added new players like early fan favorite Japanese star Kazuma Okamoto.
I think he's really intriguing. I'm hoping that the power that he showed over in Japan is going to translate.
While the experience of last season has moved some players into the spotlight.
What got you about the Blue Jays?
Ernie Clement. Yeah, pretty much.
Players like Ernie Clement and Addison Barger are expected to play a bigger role, as being defending American League champions comes with expectations.
I love the expectations. That's why we do it. And I think the guys we've talked about it so much in the off season. It's nice to see everyone, really. It kind of just gets you back to what you were doing at a really, really high level last year.
The team's leader, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., is now the longest tenured Blue Jay and says he's confident this team can produce.
I think it's going to be more fun, but I'm actually more happy than last year. I mean, for whatever reason, I'm happy. I'm feeling great. I have good feelings about this year, and I know we're capable to do a lot of good things.
And while the team beat expectations last year, now the fans want more.
Maybe make it back to the World Series, dominate the Dodgers.
Just win it all. We want it all.
But today is just day one, with a long road back. So what we got today was some hope with a little bit of nostalgia, but then reality will set in this Saturday when the Blue Jays start their preseason games right here at TD Ballpark against Philadelphia. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. Nathan and Andrea, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Sean Leathong. Well, still ahead, Canada strikes gold for the second time at the games in Milano Cortina. A recap of which athletes reached the podium on day 10 of the Winter Olympics.
But first, a pedestrian is dead after being struck by a vehicle in Aurora.
It happened early this morning near Goulding Avenue and Wellington Street.
Unfortunately, this morning at approximately 2:30 a.m., police were notified of an injured person on Goulding Avenue in the town of Aurora. Police units arrived on scene and located a female adult on the roadway with serious injuries. EMS attended and attempted medical aid, but unfortunately the female succumbed to her injuries.
Police say the driver involved remained at the scene and is cooperating with investigators. They're still looking into the circumstances leading up to the pedestrian being struck. So far, there's been no indication whether charges will be laid.
A man's been taken to hospital with serious injuries following an early morning stabbing. Police were called to Old Weston Road in St. Clair just before 5:30 this morning for reports of a stabbing. Now, a man in his 30s was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the victim was involved in an altercation before being stabbed. They've not released any details about possible suspects.
A man has been arrested in connection with a suspected hate-motivated assault during Saturday's march in support of anti-government protests in Iran. Police say the victim was taking part in the demonstration when they encountered the accused while marching. The accused made anti-black comments to the victim before punching them in their chest and face. The victim suffered minor injuries. 26-year-old Syed Bourudi has been arrested and charged with assault and wearing a disguise with intent.
Demolition will begin today on part of a plaza in Ajax that was destroyed by fire earlier this month. This was the scene when crews battled flames on February 2nd on Harwood Avenue, south of the 401. No injuries were reported, but the town of Ajax issued an emergency order saying the structure was unsafe and needed to be torn down immediately. The demolition will take roughly a week. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
A Canadian delegation is in Mexico City this evening in what is our largest trade mission to that country in decades.
The Team Canada visit is meant to strengthen relations and allow businesses to forge new agreement and also strategize ahead of this year's review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. CTV's Rachel Aiello has the story.
Hundreds of delegates representing business and key sectors across Canada are taking part in the biggest trade mission to Mexico in decades. Led by Minister Dominic LeBlanc, Canadians are meeting with Mexican government officials, policy experts, and industry leaders.
It's a long time coming. We're in a continent that we share. This is an opportunity to go well beyond where we have been.
CUSMA protections have shielded most Canadian and Mexican commerce from U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. But with the Americans threatening to scrap the trilateral trade pact in favor of separate agreements, Canadian stakeholders are looking at bilateral relations with Mexico in new light.
We haven't actually leaned in to what CUSMA, our trade agreement, affords us, and we just have not invested in building the relationships or educating ourselves or connecting those businesses.
Merchandise trade between Canada and Mexico has increased 12-fold since the original NAFTA came into force, but business leaders see potential to gain more market access.
With the current negotiation and revision of USMCA CUSMA, it's important for us to be here on the ground and see if there's potential for our producers to expand their export to Mexico.
With the required joint CUSMA review coming in July, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced today he's tapped longtime senior public servant Janice Charette to be Canada's next chief trade negotiator to the United States. Charette will work closely with Mark Wiseman, Canada's new ambassador to the U.S., who just started in D.C. this week.
Well, of course, she's an incredibly experienced and seasoned bureaucrat and diplomat. This is exactly what we need.
Reacting to Charette's appointment, the Conservatives said Canadian workers need results and not another bureaucrat or negotiator. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, it appears the Prime Minister will be traveling to India in early March. Mark Carney has said he's working to diversify Canada's alliances beyond the U.S. Ontario Trade Minister Vic Fedeli says the PM will be in New Delhi, likely on March 1st and 2nd, to discuss the framework for a comprehensive economic agreement. Fedeli is also visiting India to participate in an AI-focused global summit and to attract companies to Ontario. He says trade between the province and India has grown 60% since 2018.
The federal government's electric vehicle rebate program returned today as EV sales in Canada has not met expectations. And now the auto industry is hoping the rebate will revive demand. CTV's John Vinavali Rao has the details.
Well, here at the auto show, a lot of the focus is on EVs. They're all over the place, with automakers showing off their latest models and hoping sales will get a boost thanks to the return of that federal rebate. As of today, if you buy an electric vehicle for under $50 grand, you can get $5,000 off a full EV, $2,500 off a plug-in hybrid. Now, while Ottawa and Beijing reached a deal recently, allowing nearly 50,000 EVs built in China to be sold in Canada at a much lower tariff rate, none of those qualify for the federal subsidy, which is aimed at reviving sales, which took a hit after the rebate program ended last January. According to BMO Economics, sales of EVs fell from 15% of the market in 2024 to about 9% last year. Still, despite the discount, some of those here checking out EVs express concerns about the charging infrastructure in Canada and vehicle range.
Yeah, just the range in the winter time. They tend to be like 30% less.
Maybe the concern would be, I guess, winter. What happens in extreme cold weather and whatever, like what's the performance like?
I feel like that ecosystem isn't as good in a place like North America because everything's so far apart. So that anxiety is always there.
Now, there are about 14,000 public charging stations in Canada, but some EV advocates say that's still well short of what's needed to achieve widespread adoption. John Vinavali Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
As the RCMP continues its investigation into last week's deadly mass shooting, Tumbler Ridge Secondary School has now been turned back over to the local school district. 5 students and a teacher were fatally shot at the school last Tuesday after the attacker had already killed her mother and half-brother at their home. The shooter took her own life as police arrived. Investigators have now taken down the yellow tape around the school. There's still no timeline on if or when students may return.
The man accused of killing 15 people at a Jewish festival on Sydney's Bondi Beach made his first court appearance today.
He's just a client, and he's a client that needs to be represented, and we don't let our personal view get in the way of our professional obligations.
24-year-old Naveed Akram appeared via video. He did not enter any pleas to the 59 charges against him, including murder and committing a terrorist act. The proceedings focused on extending a gag order that protects the identities of some victims and survivors. In December, Akram was wounded and his father killed in a gun battle with police after the pair allegedly attacked a Hanukkah celebration on the beach.
In the U.S., investigators working on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie are consulting with Walmart managers to develop leads. That is because a backpack the suspect was wearing was sold exclusively at the store. Now, the 25-liter Ozark Trail Hiker backpack is the only clothing item that has been definitively identified. The FBI says a glove containing DNA that was found near the Guthrie home appears to match those worn by the suspect. The mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie was reported missing on February 1st.
SpaceX has launched another batch of satellites that will be added to its global internet system.
3, 2, 1, ignition, engines full power, and liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
A rocket lifted off from Florida's Cape Canaveral this morning carrying 29 satellites. They were later deployed in low Earth orbit. The company says Starlink is available in more than 150 countries, territories, and other markets around the world, providing high-speed internet. Today's launch was the 10th flight for the first stage booster. It landed on a drone ship located in the Atlantic Ocean.
One of the world's most active volcanoes is erupting again. Mount Kilauea in Hawaii sent fountains of lava and hot ash high into the sky yesterday as a river of lava flowed nearby. The National Weather Service reported plumes from the eruptions going 35,000 feet above sea level, but there was no reports of ash falling on the ground. The volcano is about 200 miles south of Honolulu and is one of the state's 6 active volcanoes.
The first solar eclipse of the year will grace Antarctica tomorrow, but only a lucky few will get a chance to actually see it. The so-called Ring of Fire will only be visible in the southernmost continent. Most make that home to research stations, and some locations in Antarctica will see the full effect. During this type of eclipse, the moon is farther away from Earth in its orbit, so it doesn't totally cover the sun. Looking directly at the sun is dangerous, even when most of it is covered. So eclipse glasses are required. In August, swaths of North America, Europe, Africa might be treated to a partial eclipse.
After a year preparing, Rio de Janeiro's top-tier samba schools are showcasing their talent. They entered the Sambadrome Sunday for the opening night of Carnival, parades drawing large crowds. For the first time, there was a story of Brazil's president focusing on his life from poverty to political leadership, but the tribute drew criticism from some saying it is a possible violation of campaign rules ahead of the October election. The Samba Schools parade for 3 days featuring 4 schools each day. Rio's Sambadrome has been home to the parade since the 1980s and is a symbol of Brazil's carnival festivities. Well, Canada has struck gold for a second time at the Milano Cortina Olympics.
Perry Sound's Megan Oldham topped all other competitors today in women's freestyle skiing big air. The 24-year-old finished first with a 2-run combined score of 180.75. China won silver, followed by Italy with the bronze. Oldham's triumph came after about a 75-minute delay because of heavy snow. She joins Mikhail Kingsbury as the 2 Canadian gold medal winners so far. It was Oldham's second trip to the podium during these games. Now, she won bronze in women's free ski slopestyle last week. And Canada picked up another medal earlier in the day. Courtney Sereau earned silver in women's 1,000-meter short track speed skating. The 25-year-old from Moncton held the lead for the first 6 of 9 laps before falling to third with 2 laps to go, but she fought her way back into the second on the final lap. Serrault said after that she has come such a long way since 4 years ago. It's her third medal of these Olympics. Serrault earlier won silver in mixed team relay and individual bronze in the 500-meter event. Canada now has a total of 11 medals, 2 gold, 4 silver, and 5 bronze.
In men's curling, Brad Jacobs guided Canada to an 8-2 victory over Czechia today. Jacobs and his Calgary-based team of Mark Kennedy, Brett Gallant, and Ben Hebert, opened with 4 singles in a row and pulled away with a 3.6 end. The team says it is feeling good and getting more comfortable every game, trending in the right direction. The Canadians improved to 5-1 in round-robin action. They will play the top-ranked United Kingdom rink tomorrow night.
Meantime, Canada's women's team earned a pair of wins at Cortina Curling Olympic Stadium today. Skip Rachel Homan and her rink defeated China 10-5 in the morning. They then beat Japan this afternoon 9-6. The Ottawa-based team of Homan, Tracy Fleury, Emma Miskew, and Sarah Wilkes entered day 10 of the games on a 3-game losing skid. They have now moved to 3-3 in round-robin play. Canada's women's hockey team was also in action this afternoon.
A semifinal matchup against Switzerland, with Team Canada keeping its eyes on the road to gold. And that's exactly what they'll be playing for on Thursday. CTV's Beth McDonnell caught the game with fans at Real Sports and joins us live now with Beth. Do you have a voice left after cheering for Team Canada?
Yes, I do, thank goodness, so I can talk to both of you. This game was a real nail-biter, Andrea and Nathan. A good crowd gathered here at Real Sports to watch this critical semi-final match in Italy. Here's the moment that Team Canada won right now when I was with the fans, and this was a huge relief. After the Canadian women really struggled in the first period to get on the board, Marie-Philippe Poulin came through and scored twice in the second period to put Canada in the lead. But then just a few minutes into the third period, the Swiss women scored. Some are saying today that the pressure might have, gotten to the Canadian women a little bit, because they knew that they would be playing the American team if they won this game. And Canada really dominated in their first 2 games against Finland and Germany. But that's all behind them now, because now it's on to the gold medal game against the USA.
My birthday is today, and my one wish came true. I'm thrilled. So now we're going to do it Thursday, for sure. We got it. We got the gold.
That was crazy. That was closer than you want it to be, but unbelievable. Flowers to their goalie. That was unbelievable, but Canada's going to the gold medal game.
My heart's racing. I'm just hoping they can beat the Americans on Thursday, so it's awesome.
Got to out-hustle them big time. That's what they need to do. So, Americans are tough.
I really hope they win, because it would be a big honor to be first in the Olympics.
Go, Canada, go! The final score was 2-1 for Canada. That game against the U.S. will be on Thursday. And Nathan, Andrea, this is the 7th consecutive time Canada and the U.S. women will play for the gold medal. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan, back to you.
All right, so that's going to be another good one. Thank you, Beth. Coming up, he's considered one of the greatest performers of our time. We look back on the life and legacy of Oscar-winning actor Robert Duvall after the break.
And we're getting into that time of year where we have a hot spot. The hot spot today was Windsor at 9.4 degrees. We are beginning a bit of an above seasonal trend through the week ahead. And if you're heading out for the rest of the evening, maybe a little light drizzle, but I'm sure you'll still want to hit the rink if you can. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including a storm on the way to mark the middle of the week. Those details just after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
A report into a major scandal that rocked Quebec and had people lining up in the cold for services 2 winters ago is out.
It points the blame at high-ranking civil servants, saying they lied to the government for a decade about massive cost overruns at the Automobile Insurance Board. CTV's Quebec Bureau Chief Geneviève Beauchemin has the details.
In a more than 800-page report, Judge Denis Galland provides a detailed roadmap of the scandal.
Trop vaste, trop ambitieux.
He calls the program to digitize services of the SAAQ, Quebec's Automobile Insurance Board, too big, too ambitious, too risky. It was the biggest of its kind in Canada when it was launched. But Galland also says officials deliberately lied for 10 years to hide cost overruns pegged at around $500 million. In 2023, the fumbling of the website launch forced Quebecers to line up in the cold for hours as they raced to register their vehicles or renew their driver's licenses. There's a line from here to Peru, said this man at the time. The scandal drove down Quebec Premier François Legault's popularity. He says the report now clearly shows his government did not know the full extent of cost overruns. And he says he's looking into potential legal action against officials who lied. But one opposition critic says Quebecers were victims of a holdup of public funds and that government guardrails failed.
Even if the SAC lied to them, then they lied to us.
Galland says asking top officials to be honest seems to go without saying. But he did make 26 recommendations, including to set up a specialized digital transformation team within the public service. This to lessen reliance on contracts with big private companies. That's possibly a lesson for other jurisdictions as provinces race to digitize healthcare and other services.
We need these kind of projects. We don't have the choice. We cannot go back to the paper.
The Commission says this scandal should not discourage other digital transformation programs, but could serve as a warning signal. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
So, Jess, it looks like we all have plans for tonight, and Nathan is concerned about drizzle.
Listen, drizzle happens. Also because there's a system north of the GTA. It's going to rain, but not for a long time. So the good news is if you want to get out and go skating, Natalie was talking about that earlier, it's not going to be so bad. Just maybe bring something a little more waterproof. As we head out the rest of the evening, though, it stays above seasonal. So even with a little drizzle, it'll be all right. As we head in towards Wednesday, though, a much different system on the way set to bring rain. Freezing rain, snow, the variety pack of active weather as we head in towards that midpoint of our week. So plan ahead and plan accordingly. But for now, as we head into this early part of our evening, a little light drizzle, a little fog. You know what? The dome looks really cool. We got a little fog out there, right? Lit up blue, I would assume, for the Blue Jays as we kick off spring training. But temperature-wise, we are at a fairly comfortable point, sitting at 2 degrees still here in the city. Our friends in Windsor sitting at 8 degrees. It is mild. We have a bit of a ridge in our jet stream, so we're getting some heat. Relative heat as we head into this early part of our evening and stepping into a brand new week. Temperature-wise, overnight dropping to 2 degrees. We should be at -8. Everybody fairly comfortable and above seasonal. Bancroft, you should be at -14. You'll be at -2. So that feels almost like T-shirt temperatures in comparison to how cold it usually is. In towards our day tomorrow, another day of +3. We're going to kind of, feel a little bit of a wind chill out there, but nothing too intense. It's just that damp feeling. We get a relatively dry Tuesday before that system rolls in as we mark the middle of the week. The bulk of what we're seeing tonight, that light drizzle, is thanks to this system making its way through northern Ontario. We get just the tail end of it for the next, hour or two, and then it kind of pushes out overnight. We're left with just some fog as we head through our Monday evening. We are looking at widespread winter storm watches, freezing rain warnings, and special weather statements, and this is for Wednesday. So this is your heads up now to prepare accordingly when it comes to your travel. For us in the GTA, because we're just kind of at that freezing mark through the majority of the day, we're likely to see more in the way of kind of a wet mix, but we'll wait to see exactly how this falls. Again, for this evening, it's pretty quick. It heads out by about 8 or 9 p.m. And then as we head through the rest of our evening, just cloud cover. Cloudy for your Tuesday. The active weather doesn't really start to roll in until late Tuesday and carries into your Wednesday morning. So your commute is going to be challenging. The issue is also the potential for flooding because the ground is so saturated and there's so much snow out there. That pink, that is the freezing rain. We could see that come through as we head throughout our day. This doesn't really push out until we get to about 6 o'clock. So your commute to work, your commute maybe picking up the kiddos from school or just heading out in the afternoon is going to be impacted. But as we head past about 6 p.m., we get a bit of a break from the active weather. The good news and the saving grace with that system is at least for the daytime hours, we are just above the freezing point. So for your Tuesday, your Wednesday, we're sitting at 3 degrees on Tuesday, Wednesday right above freezing. So that's where that chance for that mixing really kind of comes into play. We dip down just below the freezing mark overnight, but the good news is the bulk of the system will be gone by then. As we head in towards your Thursday, again, we're still above seasonal right through to about Sunday. The next chance of active weather, because we're still in the wintertime, comes through as we head through your Friday and your Saturday. Kind of pushes out just in time for your Saturday afternoon, and then we get back to seasonal and then below heading into next week. Hopefully this helps you plan. Andrea.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks.
Also tonight, genetics, environment, social factors, or all of the above. A major study out of McMaster University examines food allergies and how they develop early in life.
A new study out of McMaster University identifies several key factors in children developing food allergies.
As our health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, introducing certain foods early can help prevent them.
Eggs and milk are known to be common allergies early in a child's life.
Those tend to resolve by about age 6 to 8. In most individuals, about 80%.
But for the other 20%, food allergies can continue to pose a lifelong threat. McMaster researchers have been looking at 342 risk factors for babies developing food allergies.
International data, over 40 countries, and 2.8 million participants in 190 different studies.
They identified 4 factors as the most important: a family history of allergies, eczema as a baby, delayed introduction of common allergens such as eggs, peanut, or fish, and early use of antibiotics. Dr. Derek Chu says in some cases, antibiotic use in babies is essential, but in borderline cases, families and physicians should be aware it could be a factor in developing food allergies. Chu also says eczema is like a window to the immune system and an early indicator of a sensitive immune system.
What's showing in our studies that if you delay food allergen introduction, it actually increases the risk quite a bit, and consequently, if you introduce early, might protect.
Food Allergy Canada says this publication confirms that food allergy development in children is influenced by multiple factors. Early introduction and continued inclusion of allergenic foods, central to our Eat Early, Eat Often guidance, has shown promising results in reducing food allergy risk. Their website offers guidelines to introduce common allergens, like milk and eggs, to babies between 4 and 6 months of age, in the form of yogurt or mashed boiled eggs, for example, and make sure you keep them in your child's regular diet.
Risk factors are just risk factors. That means it's not a guarantee.
But he says being aware of them can allow us to monitor and tailor allergy prevention efforts for each child. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Navigating the healthcare system can be challenging, and for those with uncommon illnesses, it can almost feel impossible.
CTV's Alex Carpa has more on one man diagnosed with an extremely rare form of cancer, using his story to help others.
Terrence May has always been active. He runs, cycles, and plays hockey, but last spring, he felt something was off.
I was having difficulties completing my runs, just getting fatigued very easily.
May noticed he was losing weight and had a bit of abdominal discomfort. He decided to go see his doctor and got some testing done.
Unfortunately, it showed, a lesion in my liver with multiple lesions in my lungs.
He was diagnosed with intrahepatic bile duct cancer, which is a type of rare cancer known as cholangiocarcinoma.
It's a palliative diagnosis. And so you're going through, trying to make as much time as you can for your friends and your family.
Over 600 Canadians are diagnosed with this type of cancer each year. This disease is often discovered late, contributing to a 5-year survival rate of just 9%.
So this is my mom in her backyard.
Andrea Cates' mom died from cholangiocarcinoma at the age of 67 in 2013.
My mom got robbed.
Cates, who is a digestive health nutritionist, says it's very important to listen to your body and seek medical help if you don't feel yourself.
When we had found out that she was at stage 4, they said she was probably dealing with that cancer for about 2 years.
February is Cholangiocarcinoma Awareness Month. Oncologists say awareness and education around this rare form of cancer is crucial.
The incidence is rising. It can affect patients not in all age groups, but there's certainly a tendency to see it in younger patients.
If you hear somebody say you have cholangiocarcinoma, the biggest thing is to be an advocate for yourself.
As for May, he is taking his situation day by day and will continue to be an advocate for as long as he can. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
From Apocalypse Now to The Godfather, Lonesome Dove to Tender Mercies, Robert Duvall's iconic career spanned 7 decades.
Tonight, the actor is being remembered as one of the greatest of his generation.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Robert Duvall has had some iconic lines in a career which spanned 6 decades and more than 150 films.
Smells like victory.
Duvall was born in San Diego in 1931. His father was a rear admiral in the Navy, but his career was firmly rooted on terra firma, first on stage, then television, and eventually film. At 31, his first film role, Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird. He was the original Frank Burns in MASH.
They shot Sonny on the causeway. He's dead.
But it was his role in The Godfather and Godfather Part 2 which brought his first major critical success and the first of 7 Academy Award nominations. He turned down a role in Godfather 3 due to a salary dispute. The role as a washed-up country singer in the film Tender Mercies was the one which garnered him his first and only Academy Award in 1983.
What we're really here for is to single out who we think is the best for that given year, and if that's what I'm to be this year, then I accept it with an honor, and I'm very moved because of that.
He was no stranger to this city and the Toronto International Film Festival. In 1997, alongside Farrah Fawcett in The Apostle, a film he wrote, produced, and funded himself. He opened the festival with Robert Downey Jr. in 2014's The Judge, and a couple of years earlier to support his friend Billy Bob Thornton in Jane Mansfield's Car.
It feels almost him getting older was actually good for his career because he just kept showing up in so many things. You know, he was just this guy that would elevate whomever he was cast opposite of.
Married 4 times, he met his last wife, Luciana Pedraza, in Argentina. 31 years his junior, she approached him, another passion, the tango. He wrote and co-starred in the film Assassination Tango. She was in it also. Duvall died at his ranch in Virginia yesterday with his wife by his side. Robert Duvall was 95.
After the break, with airlines suspending travel to Cuba, many Canadians looking for other destinations are paying big money. We look at the soaring prices for a vacation getaway.
The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation says construction of new homes was down in this country last month. The annual pace of housing starts declined 15% in January. The seasonally adjusted annual rate was more than 238,000 units. That was compared to over 280,000 units in December. Actual housing starts were up 1% year over year in centres with a population of 10,000 or greater. Meantime, sales of motor vehicles and foods helped Canada's total manufacturing sales rise 0.6% to $71 billion in December. StatsCan says it follows 2 consecutive monthly declines. Motor vehicle sales alone rose 12% to $4.3 billion as production increased at a major auto assembly plant in Ontario. Sales of food products were up 2% to roughly $13 billion.
Today marks the final day for Canadians to use their Toys R Us gift cards. A judge ruled the struggling retailer could stop accepting gift cards following a 2-week period after it filed for creditor protection. That period ends today. Toys R Us began creditor protection proceedings earlier this month as it struggled to pay its bills. Court documents show it had more than $36 million in outstanding gift card obligations at the time. And shoppers at Eddie Bauer stores have just under a month to use their gift cards and loyalty program points. Gift cards and rewards earned through Eddie Bauer's Adventure Points program won't be accepted after March 12th at stores closing in Canada and the U.S. The move is part of bankruptcy protection proceedings. It was begun by the operator of Eddie Bauer's Canadian and American stores earlier this month, south of the border.
Cuba's energy crisis is taking a heavy toll on the country's tourism industry between rolling blackouts and fuel shortages.
Canadians who'd planned to travel there are being forced to find other affordable options for a winter escape, which isn't easy. CTV's Kamal Karamali has the story.
Here at Canada's largest airport, travelers looking to escape the cold,
just the weather, I guess, the beach,
might be surprised to find how much more it's going to cost.
You actually have to pay a lot in U.S. dollars, even when you're in Mexico.
Cuba is experiencing a devastating energy crisis, and that means the thousands of Canadians who had plans to vacation on the Caribbean island are left scrambling to find other destinations.
We're going into March break. The demand for other properties was very high, and it's last minute. So
know prices are going to be high.
Thousands of dollars higher in some cases because of the short notice, and prices expected to remain high even if you're planning a getaway months down the road, since Canadians who vacation in Cuba will now be flowing into other resorts in other countries.
I would call it the perfect storm. They can deem whatever price they want, and you know what? They're probably going to get it, because that is a major player taken out of the picture if Cuba does not get back online.
And who knows how long getting online could take. Cuba's fuel shortage has triggered widespread power cuts, affecting access to food, water, and medicine. The Caribbean country is blaming the U.S., which isn't allowing oil to get from Venezuela to Cuba.
All major Canadian airlines have now suspended service to Cuba because of the aviation fuel shortage, telling CTV News they're still working on bringing Canadian travelers home.
Sunwing and Air Transat telling CTV News most of their travelers in Cuba have returned to Canada, with the rest arriving Tuesday. Steve Chapman cutting his Cuban vacation short to make it out Tuesday.
Which I think is going to be one of the last flights out, according to our WestJet rep here.
But like many, unsure if he'll be willing to pay more.
The Mexico destinations are going to definitely crank their prices up for supply and demand.
To vacation elsewhere in the Caribbean anytime soon. Kamel Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
We return now to our Olympic coverage. Today's wins by our women's curling team came a day after officials reversed one of its rulings.
It drew complaints following a controversial call against Canada's Rachel Homan. CTV's Garrett Barry has more.
The dust still has not settled at these Olympic Games after an eyebrow-raising, particularly tense curling match between Canada and Sweden's men's teams on Friday night. And at the heart of it all is not only the swearing by Canadian third Mark Kennedy towards his Swedish counterpart, but also a technical controversy.
Sweden had accused Kennedy of touching the granite part of the curling rock after releasing the handle. Curling officials then stepped up enforcement of rule violations at these Olympic Games. That move is quite rare in curling, a sport that has traditionally seen players enforce the rules themselves.
The first page of the World Curling Rule Book is titled The Spirit of Curling, and it's a lot of fluffy, poetic words about how, you know, yes, we have a rule book, but realistically, as long as everybody's just nice to each other, then the rule book almost doesn't even matter.
The extra enforcement seemed only to escalate tensions when an umpire intervened and pulled a rock thrown by Canadian women's skip Rachel Homan on Saturday night. It likely cost her a point in a 1-point extra end loss against Switzerland. Afterwards, she told reporters the situation was absurd, insane, that she was unfairly punished, and denied any wrongdoing. On Sunday, curling officials abandoned that enhanced scrutiny and went back to old procedures where teams would have to request officials come and watch for violations.
Part of the issue, according to Canadian curlers, is that this is the sport's highest stage and not, they say, the place to change the rules or how they're enforced. Garrett Barry, CTV News, Milan.
Just ahead, a cool place to play. 7 families team up to build a massive outdoor rink in PEI. Details on this labor of love coming up.
Tonight, remembering an Oscar-winning Hollywood legend.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Tributes pour in for the versatile and unforgettable Robert Duvall. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Finally, tonight, a group of families in PEI is taking the concept of a backyard rink to new levels.
They've teamed up to create an above-average ice surface that's become a focal point for skaters young and old in the community. CTV's Maria Saru has more.
A skate goes on, the buckle clicks shut, and a smile spreads. Kids in this PEI community are getting ready to take their first glide of the day. Good job, and they're doing it on a rink built by parents in the neighborhood.
It's pretty large for a backyard rink. It's huge.
Around 7 families teamed up on the project, splitting the cost and the labor. They say it took about $10,000 in total and 60 hours each to set up. This is the rink's second season, and it doubled in size.
They jokingly say that I'm the foreman, but we've got a great group of dads, and we all work together to get it built.
For about 100 kids who live here, it's a place to play.
You just get to skate around with your friends. It's a fun way to hang out. You could spend time with your friends and family. After school, it's a lot of fun, too, when it gets dark.
The ice stays busy even after the sun sets, thanks to LED lights, which are a newer addition. So is this second-hand Zamboni from northern New Brunswick. The dads gave it a little work and a new coat of paint, and now take turns running it.
One of us will house the Zamboni in our garage for the week, and pretty much every evening we just go out and do a quick flood.
Parents add it's another way to get their children outside.
And especially this time of year where it's cold and not a lot of people want to be outside. It gives the kids something to do and gets them away from the screens.
And it helps that it's just down the street for some.
My house is over down there, a couple houses down.
Maria Through, CTV News.
You know, that's a perfect outdoor activity for this weather that we're getting
Absolutely.
right now.
Oh my gosh, I was watching Natalie earlier. She did that like hockey stop. That's one of my goals this winter. Although I'm running out of time to learn how to do that properly.
No, lots of time. We have indoor rinks.
I'm a pizza stop queen. But if you're doing a hockey stop or a pizza stop, either way, it's a beautiful night to get out and go skating. And we do have pretty nice conditions over the next week or so, even though we are watching for some active weather. A little drizzle as we head through the early part of our evening, but it won't last long. Just cloud cover and a little fog as we get through your Monday night. We're looking at 8 degrees through Windsor, 2 here in the city. We're at -1 through Ottawa. Everybody holding on above that seasonal point for the most part. But we are watching for a messy mix as we head through our Wednesday. An early heads up that starts about 3 a.m. and goes through to the end of the day. So be careful.
Will do. Thanks, my dear. We'll be sure to join Marcy McMillan tonight at 11 for the CTV National News, followed by Raheem Ladani with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching. Have a good night. I'm Andrea Case. Bye. And he's Nathan Downer.
I didn't know we're announcing.